Hi, welcome back to Falling Down Garage. This is going to be the going back in time episode about the garage. We're going to pick it up where the vultures left off, and as you can see, there's a viable roof on top of the garage now. But I'm going to bring you back in time to where that wasn't the case. I wasn't filming at the beginning of it, so you're going to see some stills with voiceover, and then I'll try to bring you inside the garage and show you what was really going on with it. And then I'll bring you up to the present to show you where we are now. And then after that, when it gets a little bit colder out and I quit working on the exterior of my house until the spring, we'll probably turn our focuses to the garage, and we'll start working on the framing there. So we're going to go back in time, and then we're going to come up to the present. All right, I'm going to film that last piece now, and then we'll say goodbye to you. All right. So in the following series of pictures you see, you'll get an idea of what the roof looked like before I started doing anything to the garage. There was a hole which invited vultures in. And the vultures had babies, and their parents died, and then we had to raise them, which we did. The really sad thing is when I bought the house a few years before the vultures, it didn't look that bad. It was bad, but it didn't look that bad. I should have kept that Volvo, by the way. It had a 5-speed. This was about a month after we had to say goodbye to Vicky and Vinny, and you could see there's a definitive line 2/3 of the way up the rake where there's different looking shingles. There's plenty of holes, and right about then I decided, it was time to get moving with the garage, so I started to chip away at it. My girlfriend and I, we started to chip away at it. We cleaned up a lot of debris that was in the garage, which you can see if you watch the vultures video. And then I started to just rip stuff out of the roof, the sheathing. It was all the old bead board, completely rotten, and then the shingles, tar paper, everything went with it. And then you could see some of the rafters were gone. It was in pretty bad shape. Sorry for the configuration of the pictures. They're 4 years old, and I wasn't planning on making a video out of it. So to protect everything, I would rip off the old sheathing, and then I was throwing up 1/2-inch OSB. I did it by myself, so there's a few of the edges weren't perfect on the right hand side, and I can't remember if I was doing the putting the rafters in or if I sistered them after the fact. The picture here doesn't really do a very good job of helping me answer that question for you. After a couple months of chipping away once every week or two on the garage, I got the bright idea to start taking my camera phone out and, starting to record. I don't know what I was thinking, and my filming wasn't stellar, but here's some of the pics. This is the back right of the garage. I have a couple lally columns up there. I ripped out some of the framing and then started throwing, lally columns up and then a sill plate. I have some J-bolts in the pic. I was doing this at dusk and, starting to enjoy myself a little bit. The not having a helper, though, it makes it really hard to start putting the lally columns in because you crank one and the others start getting loose. So I had a lot of trouble with that. And then up at the top, there's a 4x4 post that's acting as the top plate. It's completely rotten. And while I'm shoring it up, I'm kind of unable to figure out how I want to really finish this. So all I could think of is get the sill plate in, and then we'll figure it out as we go. This is the right rear corner of the garage, and this is post beam framing originally, and it's very frustrating when the post, which is a vitally important part of the framing design, is just not there, completely rotten and gone, and I'm sitting there trying to figure out what to do. This is the front and center of the garage. The Dutch lap siding is still relatively level 4 years ago. Now it is sagging to the left if you're looking at it from the front. It's completely terrifying. Luckily, it's in a small section. And fast forward to today, I plan on once it's middle of November right now as I overdub this. I plan on framing temporarily the two openings to sort of shore that up, and then I'll eventually figure out a way to yank that out, put in a small sill plate, and just frame a couple 2x. I'll probably double or triple them up and strengthen that section up. But there's a big problem, which is you can't see it. There's a summer beam running front to back down the center, and that's the majority of the strength there right now. And I still don't know what to do with that. I don't know. I'll either eliminate it or I'm going to have to get an LVL. And now I'm going to need help with that, to be honest. That's too much for a guy in his 50s to do by himself. It wasn't quite level. This is what it looks like from the opposite side on the outside. Sagging a little bit. It's 3 times as bad in the present day. 4 years ago, this was the right front corner of the house, or the garage, excuse me, and it was probably the best part of the garage. Where you saw those lally columns, this is what it looked like from the backside at the time, and I don't intend to put those windows back in. They serve no good purpose, but it's just hanging there, and it's kind of like that still, except for I have some framing behind it now. And this was from 4 years ago. I did record some video, as it turns out, back on this day. And I said 4 years ago. It's 3 years ago. I'm going to splice it in here and let you listen. The video quality isn't as good, but the filming, you get to see some stuff. Hang on and watch. Okay, so what we have here, December 17th, 2021 is a back wall that I just knocked off its moorings. I'm trying to save the garage on my property, and I've already put a metal roof on it, laminating over the sheathing, a lot of which was dovetail. And I have J-bolts in the foundation, a few of which I have to fix. I'm doing this on the cheap. I'm doing this on my free time, so you can see I have horrific termite damage up there, and that's sort of the case throughout. This isn't really a garage. It's more of a poor man's barn. This house was built in the horse and buggy days, so it has Dutch lap on it. There's new Dutch lap waiting to go on. Those are pressure treated 4x6s to go on top of the block. It's not really a real footing there. I think it's just sitting on the slab. It's not built to modern code by any stretch of the imagination. This barn's pretty interesting, though. It had its separate power from the house. That used to be a toilet. Over here we had a 50 amp service, and it fed from a side street. Old wooden double hung window, or single hung, I guess. I can never tell the difference. This wall, the north wall, is actually falling off the foundation. I'm going to have to address that. This is leftover lumber from a past property, which I was loath to get rid of. And very little of this barn is still intact. I put some a half inch, OSB, sistered a lot of rafters, replaced collar ties. I just did it quick and dirty because I kept getting cited by the township. Justifiably so. I have no gripes with them. They're just trying to protect the neighborhood. I get it. But my job's very demanding. I don't have a lot of free time. I shouldn't be filming this, but I was encouraged to do so, so I am. You can see here that this has insect damage as well. I did a test sample on the outside, which I'll film later, and tomorrow in the daylight, but I proved to myself that I actually can save this, so I may not actually use all the siding that I bought. I'm a little bit of a restoration nerd at heart. I haven't done it in a long time, but I'm kind of itching to get back into it. I don't like going to the gym, and if I get a GoPro, you'll see how overweight I am. This will be filmed out of water. I'm going to have to splice a lot of stills in because I didn't do this from the beginning. So I have to figure out a way to... We have a few inches of sag heading from left to right over here. I have to figure out a way to get it up in the air and get it level so I can frame it out. And when I was knocking out the diagonals on this, I inadvertently pulled it out of the top. I'm probably going to cut it off here and stagger it and replace from here over to the end. It's all rotten, so it really doesn't matter. But I probably could use 6 more lally columns and 2 helpers, neither of which I'm going to have tonight. So I'm going to try to make it work with what I have. Okay, so we're going to wrap this video up right here, and then I'll pick up the following day in the next video. And I have a lot of stuff to put out. So this is going to be like a poor man's version of that World War II YouTube channel where they bring you back to a date and time and then, you know, bring you to the end of the war. Well, nowhere near sophisticated as that, but I'll show you what I did with the garage, and then I'll bring you onto the house as I started working on that. And then I'm still doing all this 3 years later, so I have plenty of material to put out if you can hang with me. And then I'll try to mix it up with some stuff from the present to just keep it fresh, because I have to do my garage, I have to do the house. So this brought you current to December 17th of 2021, and then we'll start the next video at the next day. So it is what it is. If you like this kind of corniness, like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.